Thank you very much for being part and parcel of Business I Am this morning, and most definitely Metropole Television, your 24/7 business channel in Eastern Central Africa. Talk to us 2146. You can also be part of the show by talking to us on our social media platforms at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms as well. Now, welcome to the economic review, and this morning we are gladly joined. I'm just seeing exactly what you guys are talking about on social media right now. Good. We're going to get this just as we end the broadcast this morning. We are joined by Odhiambo Ramogi all the way from home. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Simba. How are you?
To have you around, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's therefore get into the major part of our conversation this morning. Now, the Central Bank of Kenya expects Kenya's economy to recover in the new year. Now, the statement was made by the CBK Governor, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, following the Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on the 29th of April. Now, the team cut the policy rate to 7%, the lowest rate since 2011. Dr. Njoroge said the economy was forecast to grow by 6.4% in 2021 compared to 2.3% growth this year. In an online news conference, he said, we expect 2021 to be a rebound year. Currently, roughly, the estimate is around 6.4%. But I think the point is we will revise that given the uncertainties that we have. Kenya's economy has been hit by the locust invasion and now the worldwide coronavirus pandemic. Among the most affected sectors are tourism, horticulture, and manufacturing, all struggling to cope with the effects of COVID-19. And the CBK's projection is more positive compared to advanced predictions by the World Bank of 5.2% growth in 2021. Good. That's where we start this morning, and we do have a lot of numbers, therefore, that we want to crunch this morning as we go by, looking at exactly what is going to make us rebound in 2021. All right, now, William, we have the numbers. There's another number as well. Now, CBK is saying 6.3%. Good. World Bank, just the other day, they told us 5.2%. But there looks to be just an agreement that one of the ways in which we're going to rebound is, number one, agriculture, number two, tourism, and number three, our manufacturing sector. But I want us to start from there, William. Do you think that we are being too optimistic when we say 6.4% by the Central Bank of Kenya?
Well, optimism is good. But I think the right word would be we are being too ambitious because we still do not know how long this coronavirus pandemic is going to last. The last one, the Spanish flu, lasted for 5 months, it is estimated. But this one looks like it's going to have an impact for a longer period of time because it's already been 5 months, and there are no signs that we are going to overcome it in 2 weeks. So we are looking at a longer time, possibly. That means that if it extends to something like 6 months, then the impact will be bigger than if you looked at maybe a 3-month affair. And so, first of all, is the CBK governor that by next year, when he's talking about recovery, all this will be behind us and everything will be wonderful and nice, because there are still suspicions of reinfections as far as China. So it's ambitious. Secondly, the sectors that you are outlining are the most affected sectors. Tourism is affected because there are very few travels happening right now across the globe. Meetings, conferences are being cancelled all over the world. Bed spaces are empty, hotels are empty. In fact, hotels are closing. So for there to be a recovery that fast within a span of 12 months is being ambitious. At the same time, agriculture's bigger market is in Europe and Asia, all of whom are right now struggling to survive. The gesture by His Excellency the President to send flowers to the UK was welcome and is a great idea because it keeps our biggest buyers of flowers aware of our existence, even in this pandemic. But that does not mean that the recovery will happen overnight. Our markets are still affected, and it's going to take a while before they recover. And so just saying that, and even manufacturing is affected because of the supply chains that are significantly disrupted now as more people stay indoors. And so to say that these are the sources of possible growth in 2021 is being ambitious. It's being overly ambitious. I would take a very conservative approach to speculating about 2021.
Pretty much. Now, this is exactly what they're saying, therefore. And I want you to talk to me from the perspective of the job losses that we do expect, therefore, in relation to exactly how we do expect to bounce back in 2021, if indeed we are at all going to bounce back. Now, the president, just the other day, he did say that he fears that if this pandemic continues, then within the country, we do expect to lose up to 500,000 jobs. Now, William, let me paint you to another report that was just released the other day also by KNBS in conjunction with the Ministry of Labor. Now, they're saying that so far we have lost 133,657 jobs so far, which pretty much means that whatever the Jubilee government was prouding itself as we jump from 2018 to 2019 is already being wiped out in just a month of COVID-19 pandemic within the country. Now, if you therefore look at the number of job losses vis-a-vis the businesses that we do know, some of them are not going to recover post-COVID-19. Are we also looking at that and saying maybe the World Bank is right to say just keep it between 5.2% as opposed to the 6.4% that the CBK is telling us this morning?
Well, the World Bank is right, and they're right on two fronts. I mean, 5.2% is fair. I would probably be looking at a lower figure, but 5.2% is fair. But more importantly, the World Bank is saying it's very hard to tell, and that even the 5.2% that they are talking about is, so to speak, an estimation out of the blues. But they are saying right now it's very difficult to tell. And it's difficult to tell because we to last, one, and two, this is a global problem, and there are complexities involved with a global pandemic of this nature. If it was a Kenyan problem, then it's easier to just look at the Kenyan economy from a linear perspective and just say, well, the economy will recover at this level and in this way. But when it is a pandemic of a global scale, then it's even harder to tell. But perhaps let me take us back to where we were now that you've mentioned the Jubilee government and their estimation of job losses. One of the reasons why this is harder for them to manage is because they had borrowed too much. There was very little room to maneuver in case of an emergency, because right now they need all the money they can get to have a stimulus package, inject money into the economy and make sure that the economy is working. One of the things I heard Dr. Njoroge mention is about withholding the pension interest from pensioners. And that would be counterproductive because right now you want as much money circulating out there as possible, and you want as many business as can remain open to remain open as possible, so that then that money is circulating and there's a multiplier effect. But they are very little capacity to do this because they had borrowed too much, well beyond the recommended stipulations by the World Bank and the likes. At the same time, the economy started doing badly as early as 2017, 2016. And so where we are, it's like the final nail on the coffin. It's going to take more than just good prophecy to say that we are going to pick up next year. There has to be voluntary and initiatives to ensure that then the economy responds positively to after COVID-19. And some of the physical measures that the president is recommending are noble, but they might not have the impact that is required. We need a fund to help small businesses. And I don't think they have already set up one that can manage the scale at which we need money to go to small businesses.
It's interesting that you should be talking, therefore, about them not having been set up a fund so far that is supposed to go to small businesses. But the CBK Governor, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, did say that he's mulling a plan, therefore, for a 100 billion shillings fund that is supposed to go to the smaller businesses that the businesses in the country can access on a lower risk basis. Now, just respond to that in that we are actually addressing our issues directly from the banks. We haven't seen a direct economic package so far. And tell me how that is going to be counterproductive when pretty much everything you're doing is through your banks within the economy, which are also overly regulated. And then number two, talk to me about 2021, which we're talking about. And remember, that will pretty much mean that we only have 1 year to go to the election year. Do you think so far that we have a political will in the country that is sane enough, therefore, to take us to 2022? Or pretty much prepared through 2021 as we look forward to 2022, or it's going to be like, all right, hold on and then wait before you invest because 2022 is again an election year in the country?
Well, the 2022 jitters, we already started feeling them as early as last year with the BBI, the Tanga Tanga, and all the likes. I mean, the move to create a fund is noble. Using the available infrastructure with the banks is also acceptable. As to whether the regulatory framework within the banking sector will allow for the kind of lending we want to see is a structural issue that can be addressed either at a policy level or at the operational level, depending on how the fund is structured. So that does not worry me. I think what worries me is there a fund and can small businesses access it? If those two questions are addressed, then we are good. Some of the things can be handled much later on. Now, then the other thing also that perhaps I can commend Dr. Njoroge on before I go into the electioneering jitters is the fact that they have reduced the interest rate to 7%, the CBR to 7%. I think that's very commendable because then that makes loan facilities more affordable. Now, the issue of the elections coming up, the challenge of our elections is it has a way or a tendency to push inflation upwards because for one reason or another, there's usually a lot of money circulating during the election time. And that will further weaken the shilling, that will further put us in a bad place economically. And so, yes, there are those worries that 2021 will be a very active year in terms of elections, and by and large create inflationary pressures on our country at a time when our biggest supplier of goods is China, and they have their own struggles. So the supply chain is significantly disrupted. There will be a lot of demand for dollars. And if you add up to the election and inflationary pressures coming from the election activities, then we are looking at a possible very bad place to be, or in terms of just economic, macroeconomic indicators. And so that is perhaps one of the reasons why I am not very as hopeful as Daktari in terms of getting 6.4. I would maintain a conservative approach to, just evaluating how 2021 would look like.
We'll cross over to the next issue that we're looking at this morning as relates also the economy performance. Now, Kenya is seeking a debt relief option with lenders as the state seeks more money to deal with the negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, according to Treasury Principal Secretary Julius Muia, talks are underway with creditors, both bilateral and multilateral, who may opt to delay payments due this year. Now, the PS was cited saying, and I quote, "There are some of us who have given us an indication that they will forego interest and principal in the calendar year. We are negotiating, but what we're doing is but what we're not doing is rescheduling." Additionally, the government is also pursuing a proposal from the Actuarial Society of Kenya, task that interest payments on pension assets, that is 40% of which are treasury debt, be frozen for a period of 2 years. In the long run, that would save 60 billion shillings a year to be spent on food and income security and on enhancing medical infrastructure. According to the Treasury PS, furthermore, task proposes that the National Social Security Fund offers the state a soft loan of 25 billion shillings with no details on the terms of the loan. Now, according to data from the Central Bank of Kenya, pension funds holds about 30% of Kenya's 3 trillion domestic budget. As of 2019, pension fund held 1.3 trillion worth of assets. Good. Let's leave it there this morning. There are a lot of talking points on exactly where we can actually pick this conversation from. But what is worth noting is that the Treasury is saying we are not rescheduling. We are pretty much just negotiating. But I want to point you out to what Rwanda announced the other day. Rwanda said, "We have started a plan of telling our creditors that we are going to reschedule for probably 2 years before we can actually start to repay." Is that the approach? Is that the affirmative approach that we should be seeing from Treasury?
Well, rescheduling has its own costs, and I think what is perhaps weighing in terms of the revenue projections vis-a-vis then the costs of rescheduling, and they figure that they can indeed do away with costs by just negotiating with the lenders, so that they have a break this year and commence payments again next year. The interest payments on pension, as I had mentioned, I think it's going to be counterproductive. Like I said, right now we need all the debt to flow into the economy and create a multiplier effect. Otherwise, because then that's only how we can ensure that the economy remains upright in the midst of the pandemic. Now, as to whether there is a possibility or it's possible to get a good understanding with the lenders, and perhaps then be able to do away with the interest and the principal. Most of our lenders are multilateral organizations like the IMF and the World Bank, and they are already appreciative of the global problem, and so there will be no difficulty there. For the bilateral arrangements we have with the Norwegians, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Swedish, that is also possible. Thankfully, the country that most affected, one of our, have not heard that they are cash strapped or that they're in a bad position financially for them to then force their way into Africa and say all loans must be paid without fail. And so then it indicates that that treasury. The same is true with the Scandinavian countries. They have managed to, so to speak, ward off the coronavirus pandemic, and actually carry on with their businesses, as it were, without much difficulty. The people who are affected, the UK, the US, Italy, Spain, have very little holding on our loan book, as it were. And so what they are proposing is doable. I am only concerned about whether the revenue that we'll be able to collect after the economic decline and the fiscal measures we've put in place that will in fact reduce the revenues significantly. I'm wondering if they'll be able to carry us through, whether it's this year or next year. And so maybe there was wisdom in the move by the Rwandese government, but it's very hard to perhaps say this from an outsider's perspective. If you are, I mean, in Treasury, and maybe you have looked at your books and you feel we don't need to reschedule, or maybe they are looking at some of the plans they have within the bigger Vision 2030 plan, and they're thinking rescheduling will slow them down. And so, yeah, they have a point. But the issue, however, right now is, will we have the required revenue to carry us through in the next 2 years?
So therefore, of really pretty much looking at the entities that you have in the economy that you've been heavily funding, let's talk about this one for NSSF, that they hold about 1.3 trillion in terms of assets that they can actually therefore lend to the government to the tune of 25B. Doesn't that pretty much also go to another scenario that we're trying to run away from? Expensive loans, so much internal borrowing, when in reality we could be happy with the NSSF using this money for different investments within the economy that can actually spur economic growth at this time when you need it so much. Does that not limit liquidity again in the market when we pretty much need it for post-COVID-19 recovery?
Not. NSSF traditionally invests in bonds, it invests in the stock market, and it invests in real estate. Very highly regulated. But they have a lot of capital, so to speak. Some of the places that they would invest right now might not be as productive as they would want. For example, real estate. The high-end real estate enjoys investing in. The crowding out effect would be if, for instance, they are traditionally known to loan to smaller players, and now government wants to take away that money from the smaller players and use it as government. But they are not known to loan to smaller players. In fact, there's no way that a small business operator, let's say from town, would go to NSSF office and say, "Give me money," and they give him or her. It will never happen. And so, for the government to take this money, this is conventional practice across the globe, where the pension money can be used in cases of emergency by governments because as they revenues and put in place measures to ensure that the pension money they borrowed is paid back before it is due. And so there, I do not see much of a problem. The problem would be if government decided to borrow from banks by, releasing some very attractive bonds or bills, which is actually going to happen soon. Whether we like it or not, they need money and they have to find ways of getting money. The international markets are not as money markets are not as attractive right now or even possible, and so they will have to borrow locally. As to whether how much that will affect us in terms of a crowding out effect for the smaller players, that will depend on the bonds that they have released themselves and the interest rates on the same.
isn't it? Even as we talk about that, we already do know that the government actually did float a 50 billion shillings bond that we are waiting to see the results so far. Now, universal healthcare coverage, that is the one-year pilot, has yielded mixed results, with Machakos County registering an 86% success. On the other hand, Kisumu County Senator Fred Outa says the pilot project was a total failure in his county, with Governor Mohammed Kuti attributing Kisumu County's poor performance to challenges in accessing UHC funds to roll out the project. Governor Kuti added that in general, the universal healthcare coverage agenda has reinstated the confidence of the public in the public health sector, with attendance increasing threefold and sometimes up to fourfold. Now, however, the challenge the governors unanimously brought forth is the rule that requires all counties to procure supplies through KEMSA, failure to which counties are heavily penalized for outsourcing supplies. Well, this was said during a meeting between the Senate Standing Committee on Health and the Council of Governors aimed at discussing the upscaling of UHC to the remaining 43 counties. Now, among the counties that participated in the pilot include Kisumu, Machakos, Nyeri, and Isiolo County. Good. All right. Is KEMSA the only problem to UHC so far, Odhiambo, from where you sit this morning?
UHC has many problems. KEMSA is just one of them. But perhaps to correct you, I think Governor Kuti is governor of Isiolo and not Kisumu. Yeah, well, first of all, UHC is a necessary investment by government. And if COVID-19 has showed us anything, is that health is very important, and our health is our wealth. And so the government needs to open up space for the citizens to be able to just access medical services and health services unabated. And so the UHC program must be rolled out. What the governors are complaining about is not the implementation of the same, is the delayed disbursement of funds from counties, which is a problem not just in UHC but across board in all the programs that are being implemented at the county level. Remember that health is a devolved function. I'm surprised why government still insists on centralizing some of these functions, like using KEMSA to procure for every county government in this country. If you ask me, that is unconstitutional, because the county governments are in fact supposed to make their own decisions. That is all the way from buying to using to monitoring and evaluation. And so forcing them to use KEMSA sounds like someone is still trying to hold on to the purse or to the purse strings of the health budget. And that is wrong on many fronts. But then again, the other challenge would be that there is a significant amount of devolved corruption in the counties, so that even if they were procuring on their own, they are known to procure toothpicks at hundreds of thousands and wheelbarrows at millions of shillings. And so then there is still need for accountability in governance, so that we do not have a case scenario where medical equipment are bought at exorbitant prices. And so the issues are many. We have governance issues. We have disbursement problems or disbursement delays. We have procurement, unconstitutional procurement by KEMSA, and of course the issues of accountability, management issues in some of the county governments where they have appointed people with less than attractive skill sets to run some of the hospitals. And so there are a myriad of issues, but primarily and more important is that there is need to implement the UHC as was envisaged by the government.
Now, as we clear, Willem, this morning, Do you feel, therefore, it has taken us a tad too long for us to move out of the pilot stage of the UHC? Because it's taken up to COVID-19 for us to realize, so our healthcare system is actually exposed to a greater degree, with people not even having money to go in for testing of COVID-19, when in reality, UHC is telling us that we should have already been taking care of this through our healthcare system. Has it taken us a tad too long for us, therefore, to move into the rest of the 43 counties?
Well, I hope not. I hope not. We first of all, yes, the vision has always been there. Some of the designs have always been there. The programs were well designed as early as the 1960s. But you do know that it takes a crisis for some significant changes to happen, especially in government. I mean, after COVID-19, life will not be the same again. Some of the normal that we'll go back to will be very different in terms of culture, in terms of governance, in terms of the economy, how we do business. There will be significant changes. It's very hard right now to tell what some of the changes will remain and what some of these changes will be. But there will be, it will not be business as usual. One of the things that I am aware of that be as a significant manifested change is that governments, you see, in the past 10 years, internationally, we have experimented with one world village globalization. With the election of Donald Trump and Boris Johnson in the UK, then we started looking at protectionism taking place globally. With COVID-19, you can be sure globalization is dead. And countries will be looking more inwardly as opposed to one interconnected world. What this also means, therefore, is that the sharp edge of capitalism is going to be blunted significantly because when you're looking into the country and not necessarily a well-networked world, you have to be accountable to your population. And your population's interests include health, include education, include amenities, housing. And so some of these things that perhaps governments have been treating as a by the way will become very significant, and they will have to invest in them if they are to survive in power. And a lot of them want to survive in power. And so there will be a shift from your hardcore capitalism of that we've seen manifesting itself in this country, even through brick and mortar investment, that looks at how investors, how manufacturers and businesses can transport their goods or can do business easily, and more often than not at the expense of how people can access free health or free education service or just housing. And so there will be a shift in that as government now look at these social services more keenly and less brick and mortar investment. And so UHC will benefit from this. And so sometimes it takes a crisis for us to wake up from our slumber and actually do what is needful. It took a crisis for the Black Death in Europe and Asia in the 14th century for them, therefore, to give liberties to workers so that now workers, peasants had some rights as they do farming. And that significantly shifted the arrangement between the worker and the landlord. And the same would happen now, even now, as we are moving or observing this COVID-19. So change is inevitable, and we thank God for the crisis in as much as it's sad, but we are hoping for significant, positive, people-centered change after this.
Everybody's hoping for William, and thank you very much for joining us this morning on Business AM.
Thank you, Simba, for having me.
All right, now take William back to the time that he came into the studio, sharing his sentiments on some of the proposals that have already been given to Treasury on exactly how they can get the money, and also whether we are a tad too late for UHC to roll out to the extra 43 counties. We take a short break, but the question is therefore, even as William says, that we are bound to rethink the way we do that business. Question is, to what direction therefore are you supposed to take your business once we come back here on Business App?